Good afternoon, YouTube. Interesting, you've got an engine light there. I'm just assuming that's because I've not gone to first gear yet. Oh, okay. They've still got an engine light. Oh, that's an interesting one. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't expect that today. So we've got ourselves a little amber light or engine light now. And I updated the tripper dash with the different firmware, well, the latest firmware, last night. That's slightly worrying. So we won't put any pressure on the engine and just see what it's going to do. Just taking it very gingerly because I'm really quite concerned about that little light. Well, I don't personally think there's anything wrong with the engine. I think it's more associated with the tripper dash, which I updated. That might be something to do with that. So, but I've now got this engine light, which is different to what they said. So I think when I reach the little green lane which I want to go down, I'm going to cycle the ignition 4 times and just see if it corrects it. So this is an interesting one for you YouTubers out there who've got Himmy 450s, and whether you've upgraded your firmware using the phone, which was successful. Let me know in the comments whether you've had this issue. And as you can see there, that amber light is still on. These tracks were made for these bikes, or bikes were made for these tracks. I think both really. So there's a lovely narrow track, which in the heart of Worcestershire, but it's only short, unfortunately. So we'll have a quick look. And here we go. Well, it doesn't seem to have gone, so we're going to try the mode change. This is rear ABS off. Now this is what the firmware is supposed to have sorted, and you can see that the rear ABS lights now come on, but we've still got this engine light excuse me, which is really slightly concerning. So I'm going to make this a short and sweet video. It would be interesting to see if anybody else has experienced this after a firmware of the tripper update. No, I haven't touched the engine. There's been no modifications to it, no modifications to the exhaust, nothing. Yeah, that engine light's still on. Which is highly annoying. got a pheasant. That's it, old chap. Off you go. Yeah, it's quite an interesting little lane here. I didn't know this existed until I saw it the other day. Oh, it's quite muddy here. It's going to be quite interesting. Yeah, it's quite a fun little green lane, really. And it gives a bit of taste of the capability of this bike. Now, this is the first green lane that I've properly been on. It's more of an unbroken, rather broken up road, really. It's more of just a lane. But certainly quite interesting experience for the first time. And that's it, really. That's all it is. There's not much, to be honest with you. So just park it up here for a second. So the old engine light has remained on. Let's just turn that back on. So the ABS is back on now. Yeah, interesting one. Let me know in the comments if you've had this, and Royal Enfield, if you're watching, get in touch. This bike has only done 547 miles from new. It's been running. Its next service is not due to another 6,000 miles. All that's been reset. I could try, I suppose, to update firmware again, but always got to watch yourself around here, horses, etc. You just don't know. I don't know where that goes. That looks interesting road down there. I would have gone down there had the engine light not come on. Sure. It looks like a car park. Ah, what's this? It's not very helpful. Public footpath. It does make a nice sound, actually, this engine. we go. So we're going to have a go at this. So I'm in neutral. So start it up. I'm going to leave it for 10 seconds. In fact, I've just realised, so the people that are really observant will discover that the engine light already went off. So there you go. It appears that the engine light has gone off, but you know, it already went off anyway. So not sure cycling the ignition actually and starting the engine works, but riding the bike certainly did. Thank you for watching. That was my first excursion on a green sort of lane with the Himmy 450. Watch this space for other content, and just before I go, I will show you a couple of mods that I've done to the bike already. So we've got double take mirrors, and I've also fitted these handguards. These handguards are Royal Enfield OEM parts and mount here. I've seen some guys leave the bar weights on, but to be honest with you, there's virtually no vibration. In fact, I think probably it's slightly improved. So if you did leave those bar weights on, the handguard would then come out further, which means that there clamp would have to come further up here, and that's obstructed by the reservoir here. So the net effect of that is that the handguard would have to be lower to clear it very slightly, which means this wouldn't be central here. So it would tend to be a bit lower. And the same goes for that side as well. And that side was easier to fit because you haven't got the reservoir there. But it was a little tricky. You needed 3 arms and 3 hands really, but it worked out. The other thing I've put on there is the ubiquitous quad lock. And I've got my Krieger bag, which I converted from a bum bag to a tank bag, which is really effective because it's soft and it conforms to the unusual tank shape of the Himmy 450. And those observant will see that I've fitted these Lomo bar bags, which are really good. They were a little tricky to get through here and here, but it worked out on both sides. They're really good. I haven't tried them in water yet, but they're supposed to be 100% waterproof. And I've also fitted these temporarily until I get some better ones, but I noticed that the paintwork on the Himmy can be a little bit on the old, well, thin side, because my jeans went straight through that. So it appears that the engine light is now off. So all good to go. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.